but I don't believe the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is ever good, because it's our independence.
Yeah.
It's us choosing it. All it really means is an independent path from God. And that is never going to be good. Yes, we can look and see what we see as good and bad in the world. And if we make a judgment based again on the negative judgment against those who are doing good and bad, then yeah, that judgment will be heaped on us, because what you judge comes upon you. And so we've got to be very careful how we make judgments. If we make judgments to death, well, we're bringing death into our life. So I totally agree with that aspect to it. And I see what she's saying. I just don't think the pathway of independence is ever going to be good, because it's independent from God, which is what the path is. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil is just our choice to operate independently.
Oh.
But if you do operate independently and you make choices of judgment, then you are going to receive that judgment on yourself. So therefore, you judge to death, you're going to bring death. You judge to life, you're going to receive life. What you sow, you reap. No, I don't think the path is neutral. I think the path is independence. It is leaning to our own understanding, and it's humanism. Humanism is never going to be good, because that means we're good enough without God. We're not. We need him. We need what Jesus did. But ultimately, I agree with the whole thing of making the judgments. I just don't see that that needs to be linked to the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because that is our path of independence that we have chosen to follow. And if you choose the tree of life, then you're only going to judge to life, because you won't have any negative things to be able to judge to death. But if you follow your own understanding, then human justice judges to death. It requires punishment and payment for what we determine behavior. Whereas God doesn't require payment and punishment for what we see as behavior, because Jesus has already taken that judgment and overcame it and already took our punishment. Because we punish Jesus, not God. So Jesus already took it. There is none. But man's justice requires it. It requires payback, where God is not looking for payback. How could we ever pay back enough to actually cover Jesus dying? We don't have to, because he chose to voluntarily surrender his life so that he could identify with our death, and all of us could die with him, and all of us could be resurrected with him. That was his choice. He gave himself to that because he came into agreement before the foundation of the world, which is pretty amazing truth. But I don't believe that our independent acts separated from God can ever be good. I'm not saying on the surface that people don't do good things, because bad people do good things. People who are murderers love their kids, so we can't judge on the surface of anything, and we shouldn't judge on the surface of anything. But that doesn't make, for me, whenever we choose independence, it's going to lead to some negative thing. It's never going to produce life or good things. And of course, people can do good things for the wrong motive, for selfishness, for glory, for money, for all sorts of reasons, which are not necessarily love. So any motive we have, which is not based in love, is really inherently going to produce wood, hay, and straw in our life, not gold, silver, and precious stones. And anything that comes from my choice of independence, from my own understanding, is going to produce something which is not part of my destiny.